Okay, so we have the order here, as you've already introduced those maps. We have 3 maps in the map pack, or the map pool, because we already had a ban phase beforehand where every player could ban a map. So from 4 players in this match, having 7 maps in the map pool, 4 bans, leaves us with 3 maps. That's easy maths. So I can also do that. That is fine. So I'm currently watching the intro actually here of Hypnosis by Forset. Nice intro, I like it. Press respawn. Okay, let's press delete here. And good luck to the players. So we have Ludo, we have Ferry, bolle. So Ferry and bolle are brothers actually. And then also Fate betting out for 2 spots here. And we have 1 warm-up before we're gonna go live. And I'm joined in by the beautiful and charming Astro. Hello.
Hello.
So
yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully you're gonna have the mod in the next round when it's actually going live.
Yeah.
But yeah,
good luck to the players. I mean, you probably give us the insights here because I've hardly seen those tracks. I mean, we can see the length of the track. We can see a 4:55, so we might expect smooth runs, maybe even below 5 minutes. But yeah, the mod is actually loaded for me here by the looks of it.
Oh, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah, I think this is of course not an official server, so not the locals on this server are not like everyone's personal best. I think for Ferry and bolle, it's pretty safe to say that the locals you're gonna see on the right side of the screen are actually their personal records, because they do train on this server all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is normally the rounds train server, and the other servers are the time attack. So for Ludo and Fate, these are probably not really representing their actual best times.
Yeah, but we already see good warm-ups here from bolle and Ferry, both of them. But Ferry just fallen behind there. So bolle, the only player who yet has to make a mistake. But of course, I'm not gonna waste too much energy here in the warm-up. The map seems very technical, as you've already introduced it to us, with some wall banks, but also a nice setting here. A bit in like a vault section. I don't know how you want to say that, in a bunker, something like that. So really cool map. Can be very confusing, tight corners. But I would say not the easiest map, even though it looks easy. But those maps can be really hard because you play them for 5 minutes and you have to do all those things. And I'm not sure, do you have to go up there, what bolle did? Is it a cut, or what does he have to do?
Well, it's like, we're of course not really sure because we haven't like confirmed this with the mapper. But normally you would bonk your head and then go backwards up that ramp. But the players have discovered a faster strat by like going forwards onto it and like a little horizontal. So everyone is basically taking this route now. And in the next section, where bolle is coming now, we will actually see some players opt for a water bounce, like a water bounce skip. Like you can go for a water bounce, which is like safer, but also slower. Bolle opts for the risky strat and doesn't really make it cleanly, so doesn't gain anything with it. Maybe even loses some time on the water bounce. So this is like a place where the players can choose, do they want to risk, do they want to save? And it can make a big difference.
Okay, also backward section here. Bonk.
Yeah, a long freewheel section. In this entire section, your engine is off, so any touch here will cost you a lot of time. It can easily take you like multiple seconds.
But definitely a cool map. I really like that. I mean, I also played this title pack myself. I really digged it. It was very cool. And it was also addicting, you know, not only speaking of liking it, but you always wanted to push a map, and it was so, you were so curious, okay, what is the setting now of this map? Because every map felt really, really unique.
Yeah.
Okay, let me drink some water here. Because for the people who just joined in, I also casted the German Trackmania Cup beforehand. And we had a lot of fun there, but it was also very exhausting. I was a little bit the ambassador. We collected the prize money, but just casting 5 hours and now going for another cast is actually very exhausting. But I like RPG, and I also like the Night Cup and all events, and I also I played those maps. I played when it came out. I played together with Plasterex. I remember we had a good time before Zerator Cup 1 even. So that was a long time ago, and those maps are definitely, they are my jam, and I would love to see some of those maps in Trackmania 2020, but I think we are pretty far away from that.
Yeah, there are of course RPG maps in Trackmania 2020, but I mean, apart from what I think myself of Trackmania 2020, the acceleration penalty really is a big problem for RPG maps.
It is.
Because wall banks and like bumps and stuff are like an integral part of the RPG style. So yeah, RPG really suffers from that, and a lot of people in the RPG community will, for that reason, stay in Trackmania 2.
Understandable. I mean, the penalty is not only bad in my opinion, as Bolle drives a 503. So I would say a good time. He made some mistakes. So
I mean, 503 is definitely not bad, but I do really expect sub 5s here. Like, I think Ferry in practice was really fast and really consistent. He seemed to be on a 55, 56 pace every run.
Wow.
So I would be surprised if there were rounds where no one would drive a sub 5 actually.
Interesting.
But of course, when there is pressure, everything can happen. But this map is one of the easier maps to save kind of and drive a fast time without like making big mistakes.
All right, but we're gonna start now in 13 seconds, and as you said it here, it might be an easier map here, but of course easier maps invite people to risk more. But we're gonna go live here with the first round, so we have 3 rounds on each map with one warm-up beforehand. Not sure if you're gonna have the warm-up in the next rotation as well, but maybe they just say, yo, we're gonna skip if everyone loaded in. So that's maybe the jam here, as we have Bolle and Ferry leading. Great start for both of them. But Ludo, great line here over the uphill, goes into the lead here, but only temporarily. But Ferry also not with the best amount of speed here. So the non-Scrub clan driver, or non-Scrubs clan driver, currently is fighting it here. But great round here. 35 seconds into the map, and Ludo is pushing it here. And you said maybe Ludo has not the best mentality today, right?
No, Fate is actually the one that is,
Fate was that,
is 6. Yeah. Ludo is
true.
In his previous matches, we have often seen Ludo being really fast in the start, but then not managing to keep that advantage in the latter half of the map. And well, Bolle and Ferry are of course LoL players from Origin. They tend to risk a lot. So we see Ludo not being too much ahead because all 3 players are actually on really fast starts. Like, their starts are equal to my personal best. And I have hunted these maps a lot. So to do that in rounds, it's like really impressive. And well, we already see Fate like having to risk a lot to even keep up with these players, and not really managing to handle that risk, and having to respawn again. He's already quite far behind. So it's gonna be a tough match for him.
Yeah, so let's not focus on Fate here in this round, as we have a even closer round here for the first position. Ferry goes into the lead here ahead of Ludo now. So with a great no jump there that I've spectated and seen, it is Ferry now in the lead here ahead of Ludo. And now comes this critical section where it was Bolle losing grip there by, I think, braking too much or braking with too many kilometers per hour and then getting a slide or something. But Ferry is surviving it. Ludo with a good turnaround though. And it's still everyone's round here. Only 1 second is tearing those players apart. Make it 0.6 now. So that is really close, as you can see. So 2:19 to 20 of driving and only 0.1 of a second. That is crazy to see.
They're on a really fast pace as well. Again, both the Dutch brothers making the same mistake, just slightly clipping on that edge of the it's of course a magnet block, so even if you kind of fall off, as long as you have wheels on that side of that block, you will be able to get to the top again, so you don't have to respawn all the way. But Ludo does take a 2 seconds lead here. Let's see if he can keep that up.
Yeah, let's see if he can keep it up. And also, like, we've seen it today a lot of times. If you're in the lead, of course the pressure is rising. You see it in the CPs, and then you might overthink things and maybe take it too safe and just go out of your focus or out of your safe lines. But Ludo is currently still 2 seconds ahead, so he is on a good run. I'm just gonna follow him here to see if he makes a mistake or not, as Ferry and Bolle are on second and third position. Get some airtime. That could have gone into a different direction here. But Ludo is doing it also quite nicely, accumulating a lot of speed. Also nice drift there, nice amount of speed here. Good adjustment to the turn here, where you have to go to the right. And only 1 minute and 30 seconds left of track, maybe even less. I think Ludo is on a good pace here to take it home. And yeah, he's doing it very good. But we see Ferry and Bolle coming a bit closer though. But it's only... yeah, it's only 0.5 of a second, but look at that, 1.5 seconds. Maybe they're pushing it now for the biscuit, but it's Bolle with a mistake.
Yeah, Bolle slightly not getting the drift at first. He managed to save it, but he loses about a second with that. And well, Ludo is at the moment on like a 3:56 pace if he managed to keep this up. So like this match is already starting off in an insane manner. Like they are so fast. This backflip here is sometimes a bit random. Sometimes you get more forwards momentum than other times, and that kind of determines how quickly you can release and how low you can jump. So Bolle didn't get it the best, but is still very much in the race. And well, we don't really see any position changes. This has been the standings for all this race.
Oh,
now the last backwards part, all three survive it. It can be a bit random sometimes. You need to make sure your wheels, none of your wheels touch the exact middle of the block, because you will get kind of a land bug and like your angle will be destroyed and you might even drive off. But like this race is insane. Like this may be the best match, the best quality match we have seen all tournament, and that in the loser bracket quarterfinal we see that the player field is so stacked. It's insane.
And also one remarkable thing is that, bear in mind, Ferry was 2.5 seconds behind Ludo here in one point of the race, and he manages to only be 1 second behind the leader. So that is a great round. And yeah, Ludo can cope the pressure here and stays in first position, so that is cool to see. Clocking in that first 10-pointer here, so you can see the points repartition here. 10, 6, 4, and 3 points for the respective positions. And again, 3 rounds per map with 1 warm-up on the first rotation. And yeah, it is Ludo taking that first 10-pointer, so he's leading. And of course, he wants to extend his lead, point him to 70, and then with finest mode enabled, so you have to win 1 more round to take it home. So I'm gonna go with Fate here in that first quarter, or like first part of the track, but he gets a wonky section again here and finds himself already 1 second behind and counting, since he didn't get the best speed here as well. So the previous player, Fate, is 1.5 seconds behind, but it's still not over here for him. There can still be someone who makes a mistake, and then he can snipe away at a good position there for himself. As I'm just saying that the caster's curse is kicking in, it's unbelievable. I'm good at cursing astronaut, and yeah, Bolle with a respawn.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about Ludo getting first at last round with, apparently, according to Twitch chat, a personal record. So that either makes his mentality very, very good, because, well, he's driving sick from the start. But on the other hand, during that PB run, he did manage to lose 1.5 seconds to Ferry there. So maybe he is kind of sweating with Ferry on in his sighing in his neck. But that Ludo again with a very quick start. Fate also hanging in still. They're only like about 3 seconds from each other, and in RPG that's like really not too much.
It's one mistake, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually like, as we saw, Ferry just catches up 1.5 seconds in the last in the second half of the map without Ludo even making like real mistakes. So a few seconds is usually not too big to handle. When it goes to about 5 seconds especially on this map, then it's really too much to catch up without your opponent making a mistake.
Yeah, but I think Ludo's on a good start. Now the decisive part here comes in. Ferry coming actually dangerously closer here. Look at that. Ludo was on a 6th start here, according to the chat here from Morpio. But now the turnaround really matters. Ferry getting it really good, as well as Ludo. And we have a close fight here for that first position for the 10-pointer. Yeah, it's only 0.2 between them. and it's no one's race thus far. You have a lot to lose here, but look at that Ludo with the mistake there. Ferry goes into the lead there. Also good trajectory into that part, but what a neck and neck fight. Look at this driving, but it's actually Ludo with the mistake there, and he's dead. It's magnetic, but he gets the stuck, and he might be being overtaken there by Fate even. So he gets that mistake, and that's very unpleasant to watch. Can he actually save it? He also gets the airtime there. Oh no, that it was
that's horrible to see. Even Bolle is like really close behind him now, so Bolle can try to risk and grab one extra point. Of course, doesn't seem like much, but it can in the end make the difference. But he doesn't get the greatest speed there and won't have the greatest speed for this part of the engine killer section. So
yeah, that is.
Yeah,
really
in the meantime, Ferry seems to be driving away from Fate. He's like way too far ahead for Fate to have any hopes of catching up. Maybe Ferry will make a mistake, but he should be experienced enough to just save it to the finish. He knows he's 8 seconds ahead, and he shouldn't give this away, not on this map.
So there's no flying respawn for that. There's no flying respawn here in this game, so it's a standing respawn. But even with 8 seconds, if he... Yeah, of course not respawn here, but he can afford a respawn in some way, in some situation. But he should not do it, of course, else the race can get really close. But Ferry, only 1 minute left, and he's also on a good time.
He is on an insane time.
Yeah.
He's equal with my PB at the moment. So yeah, this man has like this fight with Hazard in the last match, where he just got like an emotional roller coaster there by getting into finalist mode because Hazard failed the round before, and then being about 2/10 ahead in the very last checkpoint and just saving it a little bit too much. Yeah, I mean, some people would have stopped playing after that, but Ferry is a fighter, and he decides to come back, and to come back stronger than ever. And well, we see the result of that here. He has trained a lot, and he's gonna like drive a 56 in this run.
Yeah, that will be a good time. That will definitely be a good time here from Ferry. And with that, if you take a look into the standing, Ferry will go into the lead with that, because... Oh no, actually it's tied because Ludo is still on P2 by the looks of it. Bolle has made a mistake, so he's dropped down to P4. And yeah, let's take a look here. What time will that be? It will be a point
56, very high. Yeah.
57.
Oh, 57.05. He doesn't get the best of endings. Like, I mean, this end you can of course smooth steer while the engine killer is on. So I'm used with my keyboard that I always lose to players. But apparently I overestimated how much Ferry would gain there. But yeah, still a very nice time, 57 low. That is definitely winner bracket worthy, I would say. And well, the fact that these people like Ludo in the last round, Ferry in this round, are just driving 56, 57 paces. It's quite insane.
No, that's definitely insane. So great time, and both are up to 16 points. Bolle and Fate both with 7 points. Already a huge gap here between first, second, and then like third and fourth both tied. So 9 points, but now maybe Fate and Bolle can do something, because Bolle had the pace in that first round. But now we have one more round here on Hypnosis until we're gonna go to the next track. And I'm just gonna go with Bolle here, who has the weakest starts and also makes that first mistake. So again, I'm jinxing Bolle here by spectating him. I didn't mean to do that, but every mistake is on camera, so you can maybe analyze it afterwards. I don't know, but yeah, let's go with Ferry and see how he's gonna do it, as Ludo is again in the lead.
Yes, sorry, I was just distracted because apparently in the other match some problems happened, and I am an admin of the cup, so I need to take care of it. But I'm back.
Okay, hi back. It is.
Yeah, got him.
It is Ludo making a mistake, and Ferry is leading. Then Fate
also
is behind.
Also behind.
Yeah, oh my god, what is Fate doing? Ay. Dead turtle. Backwards turtling is hard.
And we see Ferry getting just like a golden road laid ahead of him to grab another 10 points. Like, he is already 9 seconds behind, and we've barely started this round. So yeah, Ferry is loving his life at the moment.
Yeah, but you can also start to hate it if you just make a mistake then, and this could really ruin your mental game. But thus far it's looking good. He could move up to 26 points here. A very good start into the race on to that first map, and Ferry is just doing that quite nicely. Of course, the crucial part that is pretty hard for me is this turnaround that is coming up very soon here in this section. Or in the section... No, where was that? It's coming up, I think, right now, the turnaround. Everything looks so similar, but also not. It's so weird on this map. I think that's also what it's really hard to learn this track, that every part looks a little bit alike, you know?
I mean, it definitely doesn't help that, that you don't have the mod at the moment. Yeah, Ferry, does manage to save it very well, and he's still very far ahead. In this part, you have to drive backwards, otherwise you will get a black screen. So it's not that backwards is like necessarily faster in this part, but you're just forced to take that part backwards. Just some random information.
Well, it's important because some people might wonder why you drive backwards in this part. And yeah, currently still 8 seconds between first and second.
Ferry taking the risky way there, is opting for the waterbound skip. Like, in his position, I would definitely not go for that. Like, you're 9 seconds ahead, why would you risk such a part?
Maybe he doesn't know.
If you have to respawn there, I think he does. He should know, and otherwise that's also well, not the greatest decision on his part, I think, to not know about the safe strats on all the maps.
Of course,
but yeah,
of course.
Maybe that's the LoL player mentality coming out, trying to be trying to go the fastest way everywhere.
I would also do that, actually. Because maybe he's in the zone and he just feels confident about that, because it didn't even look so hard, if you ask me, as a LoL player.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's quite hard to do it consistent, as you've seen. People are making in this match are making mistakes in that part. But I mean, if it works, it works. He made it. He does get a weird land bug there. That was weird.
I'm not missing them though. The land bugs.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the meantime, Bolle is trying to get back to Ludo. He's about 3 seconds behind at the moment, which should be enough for Ludo to keep it. Ludo is definitely has enough pace to keep this lead, but of course everything can happen. Like, there are some partly random parts coming up, like the backflip is coming up, and then later we have the backwards climb where you can sometimes bug or just get it really unlucky.
And then a fast respawn is required. So let's follow Ferry here for the last bits of the track and see if he makes a mistake. So also this part, you could easily fail it somehow, maybe get a nose slide and then just clip somewhere. But of course, penalties are not a thing in this game. But it's looking good for Ferry here to not make it now. The last bit of the track is coming up with this, with this part where you have to respawn and then get this freewheel section after this part here. But Ferry copes it quite nicely. It also is extending his lead.
Yeah. Gets it very fast, and he is once again on a really good time. He's gonna drive just to a 57 low again, which is insane that he does this in match, that he is so consistent.
Sick.
It's amazing to see.
Yeah, Ludo just behind that after that mistake. So anticlimactic rounds here, but the driving looks so easy probably for all of you, but it is not easy. It's pretty hard to do, and Ferry survives it here twice in a row, and also had a good round at the beginning. So driving sub 5 minutes here is definitely not easy. And yeah, Fate is not able to finish here actually. That is unfortunate for him. So hopefully he can get well soon.
Yeah, I think this, especially the first round already, was quite demotivating for him. Like, seeing 3 people drive like 456, 57, 58, and then seeing your own PB, I don't know exactly what it is, but maybe even above 5 minutes. That's a tough pill to swallow, I guess, because you just don't have any chance. But yeah, Ferry driving, I think, 3 57s in a row. Like,
that's sick, yeah. His
consistency and pace are like one of the best in that we have seen in the cup so far, and I really think he could be a big contender for like the grand final if he plays like this.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the loser bracket, but he lost by a hair. That's what we can say here. And now we have the next map coming up, Mara Park. Maybe you can tell us something about this map here. I think the mod has loaded for me. That was the first map that we have seen. And yeah, it's again a beautiful and gigantic map. If we take a look onto that in free camera, you can see those maps. Yeah, you don't build them in one sitting. You need probably 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 sittings building this tremendous scenery, because this map kind of tells a story and is a bit of a different landscape, you know? It's just a beautiful map.
Yeah, definitely. The mappers have had I believe almost a year to map these maps. There are 7 mappers, even 8. One map is built by 2 people. And yeah, they spend a lot of time on these maps. So yeah, on this map is one of the harder maps. It's hard to get a clean run and be fast at the same time. So in this map, it may be worth having may really be worth having safe strategies, like not taking risk at some parts, because the respawns are quite large, and there are definitely some tight parts that will make a big difference. But we will of course highlight those when we get there. At the start we already saw the bridge part, which is for some people hard to navigate, because you don't have that much margin for error on the sides. You really need to be precise in your lines. And then here we have a quarter pipe that is quite unintuitive for some players.
Yeah, it's weird.
Once you practice it will get better, and I feel like that's the case with most of this map. It's you basically drive on rocks, all the map, and they are not the standard surfaces of Trackmania. So especially the Dutch brothers really had problems with this map at the start, because they were not used to the surfaces you drive on. They were used to the normal road and stuff. So yeah, but once you practice this map enough, and enough is a lot, you start to like it more and more, and you start to get familiar and comfortable with the surfaces, with the transitions, with the little surface changes, and it starts to become a beautiful map to see and to drive.
Yeah, nice inside information there actually, and it's something that some people neglect, because it's not a new surface. It behaves like road, you know, but still it is the car tilts, the jump, the car also behaves differently when you jump off, when you approach some parts, and transitions can be a bitch in this case. Let's just say it like that. They can be really hard if you don't have sufficient experience on this one. And also this part here, you can easily get a bounce or something like that, and things like that can happen. But Ferry is driving through here very, very good. But yeah, something like that. Just a small error can decide around here, and this can really throw you off guard. So, and Fate currently saying in the chat that he cannot focus, so he might not continue this match. Okay, let me check here. What is happening there?
Yeah, Ludo did get a red time, and in the previous match, just a few hours before, we saw a really weird bug where Sheeps had his match, and he was just driving, and after checkpoint 3 he suddenly didn't get any checkpoints anymore, but he was still driving and he didn't seem to be lagging. There was no invalid time, red time message in the chat, so we were really confused, and he got first in the round, but he didn't get points of the game, obviously, because the game thought he didn't finish. But in the end we did of course give him those 10 points, and we did adjust the scores. But I hope it won't happen in this match, because it is kind of a hassle to do that manually, because Pipeplanet doesn't really offer a way yet to change the scores in game. I was trying around with it a bit, but I haven't been able to find a way to change points.
You just have to count them then, yeah.
Exactly. So I hope this won't happen. I hope this is just a warm-up thing for Ludo, and if it's if he red times again within the first 5 seconds or something, we will just restart the round. But yeah, we hope that everything is calm.
All right, we see a 433 by Ferry in the warm-up. He has made some small mistakes. He currently holds the Daddy Mania, but I think it's not the real WR, right?
It is not the real WR, no, but it's definitely, I think it's the 3rd time, maybe the 2nd time even, that anyone has driven. On last map, the sub was very likely, and we did see it in every round. On this map, I think if we see 1 or 2 subs, we should be really happy. Sub 30. I don't think it won't be as common, because this map is riskier and harder. So I think people will opt to save more or make mistakes.
Understandable. And
But low 30s should definitely be driven here by the players.
all right, it's a 25.1. All right. But as you said, the transitions can be very, very hard as Fate makes that first mistake there, which one was following, and he is currently finding himself on last, making another small mistake, but those small mistakes, of course, stack up. You lose progressively time and time, and the transition can be harder in this regard. And it's 3 seconds between him and Ludo, who's currently leading, having a fight with Ferry. So great fight between them. Let's actually go in that fight and see if Ferry or Ludo can walk away with some advantage here in some sort of part. But currently it is Ferry who is leading. But Ludo actually makes that mistake. I've seen that in the CP and now having a fight with Bolle. So what happened there actually? Did you capture it or not?
Yeah, the dirt tunnels there, they're like you need to keep your gear in those, and it can be really tricky as Ludo just slightly touches the side of the bridge there, but doesn't cost him too much. But yeah, it's tough to keep the gears in those in those dirt tunnels. It's easier on controller because you can smooth steer through them.
Mm-hmm.
But all the players in this match, I believe, are playing on controller, so that shouldn't like make a difference between them. But yeah, Ludo not having a good entry into that dirt tunnel cost him about 3 seconds, so that really can make a big difference.
That's a big F for him, and he will not play a role here for the top 2 battle, as we have the brothers Ferry and Bolle playing against each other here, and currently Bolle is 1 second behind Ferry, but not slowing down anywhere here. He's getting a great line here and also great transition in that part, but also Ferry is not slowing down here. Great line here, but you can see those transitions. There's so many jumps, so many things that you have to do, and also here the bug slide that you are using there is nicely executed from both of them, both with similar speed. Then the jump into the roof, into the cave section here again, and then this turn that feels, or I think it's dirt here, right? Or is it normal road?
It's not normal road. No,
okay.
I'm not sure if it's like the same, exactly the same as dirt. I don't actually think so, but I'm not completely sure if there is a comparable surface in the normal game for this. But yeah, they are driving on a really sick pace. Bolle is risking it there and is lucky to even stay on there, otherwise he would have had a respawn. But he is trying to beat Ferry for that first place. That of course awards 10 points, so the jump from 6 to 10 is big. So it's understandable that Bolle tries to risk it and get close to Ferry, but Ferry just seems to be on another level. Not only on this map, but just in this match so far. Like, we have seen 3 clean sweeps so far in the cup. We saw Morpio getting a clean sweep in both his matches so far, and Futa in his first match. We saw Sheeps getting really close earlier today. He won 6 rounds in a row, I think, and then got second. So he didn't manage to. But Ferry is definitely having this on his mind, I think. He wants to join the ranks of the likes of Morpio and Futa.
Well, he didn't win the first round though, so he cannot do a clean sweep. No.
You are completely right.
He's at 26 points. All good, all good. So Ferry might just get himself the next victory, but the 3rd one in a row, so that would be sick, as we only have a couple of seconds to go here. Great slide and also accumulating the speed. So let's see the time. I think this could actually be close to a sub 4:30 here.
He is definitely on a pace for a sub 30, so apparently Ferry is going to prove me wrong, and he's going to drive a 28 or a 29 here. Like, his pace on this map, he is at the moment 2.1 ahead of my PB of my time in the daddies here, which is a 30.3. So he is gonna drive a 28, and if he gains more in the end, he might even do a 27 here.
That is a sick ending here.
He's going to drive a 27, which is absolutely insane, and
wow.
Yeah, really grand final material. This man is on another level so far.
That was sick. So guys, give you guys a solid outlet here. It is 2.7 seconds away from WR, and this in a match. That is sick. That is a sick time.
Bolle is definitely not happy with what Ferry was doing here, but
Godverdomme.
Yeah, that is what he said.
Godverdomme. Lekker.
He is cursing in Dutch, but yeah, like, he is just complimenting Ferry on his insane pace so far. Like, there is definitely no shame in losing to this. I think even Morpio, who is the clear favorite for this entire tournament, like, might have a big task ahead if he wants to beat this Ferry, because this Ferry is inspired.
Yeah, of course, but there's still the pressure, you know? You shouldn't...
There is definitely the pressure.
You shouldn't underestimate that, as Ludo is also able to finish here, but look who's not able to finish. Again, Fate dead, so Fate won't play a role here thus far. He's at 7 points, and, well, I would not call it the early GG, but somewhat. 7 points for him. He needs to really have a good third map. But again, he has made another mistake. 2 mistakes in the first 10 seconds, and only the brothers are left there. So they're looking strong. So the fight we should look out for here is between Ludo and Bolle, because Ferry looks to be unstoppable. And even if he only, quote-unquote, gets himself a 6-pointer here, he is still extending his lead because his brother is in the lead. But yeah, just when I say that, it's Ferry clocking in a very, very good line there. And this part also looks super hard because it's a blind roof hit. And going onto that narrow part, you might, or you can mess that one up. And yeah, Ferry is again 2 seconds ahead already. That is a 6 start, isn't it?
It's a very good start for rounds, definitely. It's like in time attack rounds like these are very common among the top players, I would say. But for rounds, like he is definitely, well, normal players would have to risk to get this kind of start, and he seems to be doing it effortless. Like, well, he doesn't seem to risk anything. He seems so comfortable, even like hugging that pole like really closely, but just not touching it. And once again, he's on a really fast pace.
Exactly, and he's extending his lead even here to 2.5 seconds. So Ludo and Fate won't play a role here. Ludo is at CP9, Fate at CP8. So not a real gap there. So I'm just gonna focus on Bolle here and see if in the distance if Ferry makes a mistake or if he comes anywhere closer. But yeah, so maybe you can tell the chat for the people who are maybe not familiar with that, when the next rounds are and how many weeks there is still left in this tournament.
For sure. At the moment we're in the loser bracket major quarterfinal, because there's 2 quarterfinals in the loser bracket. The first one gets rid of half the players from the loser bracket, and the second quarterfinal round gets some new players from that lost in the winner bracket. So there should be like 5 weeks left, I think. Next week there will be winner bracket matches again and loser bracket matches. The week after there will be only loser bracket matches. And then the week after we have the winner bracket final and the loser bracket final. And that weekend after that we will have both the consolidation final and the grand final. Somewhere towards the end of May. Yeah, on Saturday and Sunday at like 8 p.m. So that, like, I'm really looking forward to those. I even hope to make it myself, maybe. But when I see Ferry like this, I do get scared.
Don't underestimate yourself. So the worst thing that you can do as a player is to have fear. Having respect is good, but fearing a player is not a good attitude. So you can make it. May the best one win.
For sure. I mean, I am obviously gonna try, but like, if this man is driving 27s on Mara Park, there's no way. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Maybe the pressure does of course get to him, but so far he doesn't really seem pressured at all. Like, maybe he isn't even, not because his opponents are like making mistakes,
just cruising,
but mostly because he is on such an insane pace that his opponent Bolle, who is on a very clean run, maybe a slight mistake is just 4 seconds behind, because Ferry is just way too fast on this map.
Exactly, Ferry is really fast, and I mean, it provides, or it belongs a lot of like mentality. It reminds me of the pack mentality, but like driving like that, poof, that is crazy. And yeah, Ferry is 4.3 seconds ahead, and I think he's actually on a faster time than the round before.
I think so too. He is
4:26 maybe.
Maybe we'll have to see. I don't exactly know how much my time that the game is comparing it with is loses in the end. So I think no, it should be like once again 27 high, maybe 28 low.
Wow,
somewhere in that. It's gonna be 28 low, I think. But yeah, like the fact that he's consistent on that time, like that first round was not a fluke. He is just doing it again. Like
sick.
He's so consistent and so fast. It's insane.
Yeah, and bolle just with a 4:33, 5 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's a very fast time, like in most other matchups, but
yeah, great one. And now he's up to 46 points. Bolle at 23 points. Then we have Ludo, 30 points. So that's the fight we're focusing on right now. It would be a fluke for me if Ferry didn't make it here, but never say never.
Yeah, he has such a big lead already, but we have seen in earlier stages of the tournament that players like Azuno were finalists way in front of the others, but just the pressure got to them and they didn't manage to close it out. And then in the end, Azuno dropped down to the lower bracket because someone denied 4 finalist rounds of him and got the win before him, which was Chaos Sand, if I remember correctly. So
never say never.
Everything can still happen, but the road for fate seems very dark. He did just message me on Discord that he just can't. I don't know. He does seem to be struggling with his health, of course, and
but also with his mentality.
Yeah, and also the pace of like his opponents at this point is just
too fast.
Like even if he would have been like healthy and everything, I think this pace he wouldn't have been able to keep up with. His opponents are like just unfair. Exactly.
But yeah, Ferry and Ludo now again old news in the battle here. 16,000s on CP8. So 1/3 through, but the CP density is the highest at the beginning. As you can see, 1/3 of the CPs, but not even 1/3 through here. It was 1 minute 8:08, something around that. So the CPs are getting less and less here throughout the rounds. But Ferry, what a line! What a risky line was that. Ludo also almost making that mistake, but he is not dead. But now the next brother of the bolle Ferry duo is coming here, and bolle coming into the lead. So the next fight here between Ludo and bolle for that first position, but Ferry lost 4 seconds with that, and I think that's the first major mistake from Ferry that we have seen in this 6 rounds thus far.
For sure. The first crack we are seeing from Ferry, finally having a really close round with 3 people on the same insane pace, and he does try to risk for that first place, and this time it doesn't turn out well.
Yeah, it doesn't turn out well exactly, but now Ludo gets a better backside exit here. Also, the roof jumping was very good. Let's follow bolle here. So he is still in need of a 10-pointer, but just when I say that, it's Ludo getting a slowdown there with an unsmooth landing and losing more than a second with that. Also not the best amount of speed here before that roof hit. But of course, now Ludo can make it happen. He has to catch up. He has to catch up in order to stay ahead of bolle here, to extend the lead, let's say like that, because he will still stay ahead even though if he gets that second position. But yeah, still 1 second between them, and we're approaching the last part of the track. Only 2 minutes left between them, and Ludo is not slowing down. He's actually coming dangerously closer here towards Ludo, but bolle jumping too far to the right and had to readjust, releasing, else he would have completely died, and now Ludo is leading the round here. But also
he
Ludo
won't make this. He will not make it. He doesn't pass the speed check because he has the wrong approach, and even Ferry is ahead of Ludo now. Maybe Ferry can even come for that first place at the moment.
Yeah.
No, bolle seems too far ahead.
Too far ahead, yeah.
Yeah, bolle is still about 4 seconds ahead. So bolle saved that little mistake he made very well, and
very well.
Hopefully he can pun unintended. Yeah, hopefully he can he manages to keep a safe route into the finish and doesn't get pressured by the feeling of Ferry being like just behind him and having that insane pace.
But even
as you said, he shouldn't fear Ferry here. He should pay respect, but he should still be confident in his own capabilities, and he is definitely capable to close this out and collect 10 points here.
Yeah, so Ferry still up to 52 points. That is of course also very important. Then he has to win 2 more rounds in order to claim finalist mode. It's also a long match, so the longer the match goes, the more focus it drains, and the last map will come up. So one more warm-up after that. That's also like a break where you can just maybe go to the toilet or just chill a bit, because you know we're playing for 48 minutes already, maybe give or take a little bit less, but you get the point. It can take very long, and also a round is very draining, as bolle also drives a great time. You have 4:30.99.
So they are actually driving faster than I expected. I expect maybe one sub 30, but I mean, this wasn't the sub 30, but still very close, within a second of that. So bolle really happy with his performance. He said he needed that. It's a bit of a mental boost for him. I do have the feeling that both bolle and Ferry are quite impulsive people, and they do really benefit or not benefit from having good rounds before. Like, their mental is really affected by mentality is really affected by the rounds that they play. So
yeah,
it's great to see bolle getting into the zone as well now. And what you were saying about the breaks, each player does have the right to request a break. So when a player types / match break, there will be a 2 minutes break, and you can go to the toilet. You can calm down from like a stressful round, whatever you want to do. And of course, if there are technical difficulties, then we will just wait for the player, of course. But yeah, the players do all have the possibility to request a break during the match.
Exactly, but not every player is doing that. But maybe if you're like before finalist mode, or maybe someone denies you, a break could also be very important for you. But now we have the last map, Hazard course. And wasn't this the map where Ferry got denied?
Yeah, so I mean, this is either going to go very well for Ferry and he's gonna forget all about it, or this is gonna really become his nemesis. And well, we'll have to see. I think he's gonna close it out even on this. Well, he has to win 3 rounds, and then he will actually already be the winner on the first rotation. We see Turbo unfortunately not having the mod, but maybe that loads during the rounds. This map has a lot of media tracker. It's kind of as if you were, I believe if you're playing Half-Life 3, that's where the idea of the theme of the map comes from.
Interesting idea.
And yeah, it's kind of a walkthrough through that game. So at several points you have like health points, and you shouldn't stay too long in one area, or you die. And then you get a black screen and you have to respawn. At one point you need to drive through some red boxes to collect an M4A1 and some bullets. Like that kind of stuff. That's the theme of this map, which is really cool.
But also 3 minutes long, yeah? So not that long.
Yeah, this is the shortest map and the easiest map, I would say. There's usually no chance that you have a big respawn here. There is a very important border section later in the map where you can win and gain and lose a lot of time. So we'll get to that part later, and well, there are several little tricks that have been discovered by the players to not get a slowdown while entering the water, to like have a fast exit of the water, that kind of stuff. We'll see them being performed by the players later.
Interesting though, interesting map concept. I like it. Also the theme of it. Unfortunately, I don't have the mod. Maybe it will load in due time. But what can I do? I mean, I didn't boot up Trackmania 2 in a long time. So, yeah. I'm sorry for that. But I'm looking forward to also cast other matches if I have the time, of course. But one downside, I have to say, casting 1.5 hours of that is really draining. So yeah, I would probably not cast it alone the next time as well. Because else you can really put me in the shelter or something. You know? I
mean, yeah, I think you have a very good point there, and I think also having 2 casters can like, yeah, it does keep it more holdable for both casters, and you can also get more insights into the cast. So, well, I mean, I'm definitely down. I guess Buzz is often also down to cast the matches. So
yeah, sure. So we can do it with Buzz, yeah. Why not? I mean, I casted for 5 hours today already. I mean, I'm used to that. That's a weird flex, but, you know, I don't feel any voice soreness or anything. Maybe you can hear it a bit, but, you know, I'm doing fine. Let's say it like that.
That's good to hear. So here we have this water section.
Interesting.
I don't know if you're spectating the same person as me, but yeah,
Ferry.
when you drop down, like these are the little tricks you have to perform to get this fast.
Is the camera also for them like that?
No, they're in Force Cam 3, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe no, the camera is actually like this. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
Yeah, the
okay.
camera is like this. But yeah, in the second half of that drop, you're not allowed to accelerate again, and
okay.
you can only like release, and that's like the strategy to get a fast water entry. Like it's all those little tricks that you don't really see as spectator maybe.
306.
Yeah, you don't really see them as spectator, but well, it makes these maps really hard to like drive everything consistent and have the fast times. Yeah, we see Ferry driving a 306, which is just. It's not like insane, but if he does that every round, like that will be, he will probably win rounds with that. But I think both Ludo and bolle can also drive 306, so it's not a guaranteed advantage over the other players, I think.
But we have a break now because bolle is going to the toilet, as I said.
Yep.
So 2 minutes of break down for bolle, but also maybe a break for him to come closer to Ludo, because it's 1 point between them. Then Fate probably not have a saying here in this match at all, 10 points. And then there's Ferry at 52 points, so out of 6 rounds, only missing out on 8 of them and getting first and second in all rounds thus far. That's a sick performance from the non-Scrubs clan driver. And then we have Ludo, of course, still staying ahead of bolle, but the fight is not over between them.
Yeah, it's promising to be a really interesting fight between Ludo and bolle there. They're really close, and also in the rounds we have seen them both being able to drive very fast, but also both making mistakes. So I think the pace of Ferry is just a bit higher than those two, and especially the consistency is a lot higher from Ferry, and that's what gave him the advantage so far. But
exactly.
Yeah, between Ludo and bolle, I think it's gonna be a question of who can stop making those mistakes and keep up the fast pace while not making mistakes.
Yeah, so for the people who join in here and maybe think, okay, why is the game not how I was thinking it would be? The music is not loading for me. I cannot do anything with the mod, so that's how things are. So hopefully this will be fixed, but I cannot do anything against that. So, and just having a weird champ, no music in the background, I would rather put in the Valley OST, because the Valley OST is always enjoyable to listen to. So don't worry about that, and we get that. So I just try to compensate that with some sort of professionalism, you know? And since I love that Valley OST, I just have that in the background. But good luck, have fun. We're gonna start now with the next map, with the last map, and also the last warm-up it was for the players. Now they're only allowed to take breaks, and good luck to them.
The last map, we are of course going back to the first map.
Exactly.
If it isn't decided yet, but yeah,
it cannot be decided here.
True. Ferry could win on this map, but the second place for the second place we will definitely go back on Hypnosis. And yeah, I think that's really, I don't know, I think that sounds really good for both bolle and Ludo actually. I think both of them can do damage there. We see the different lines from bolle and Fate, for example. Bolle doing kind of a 360, like doing a corkscrew through that pipe, while Fate just releases
Ferry.
and Ferry is already so far in the lead, but it's like he does make a little mistake there, but he is still on. His start was like really insane, and once again he's showing that his opponents just cannot get to him. Like he is the number one in this match, and no one will take him off that spot.
Also those small lines here that Ferry really elevates into the lead again after a player comes closer. So Fate has made a small mistake there, but it is Ferry who is 1 second ahead here of bolle. So great performance thus far. And I think bolle got himself a transition bug or something like that. So that of course is the charm of this game. So he lost on significant amount of speed, 1.3 seconds roughly.
It does happen there sometimes that you just lose your speed, and I haven't personally found a way to like circumvent that. So
Yes.
yeah, sometimes it happens. It's unfortunate, but oh, and that
Oh,
was
no.
really weird. He just stood still on his front two wheels, and Ludo manages to overtake second place. So Bolle will not be happy about that.
But now
But
we have
he
a close
can-
fight.
Yeah, you can of course just risk this part and try to overtake Ludo, but also Ludo taking a risky line, but getting a slightly less speed on that landing. While we see Ferry already going out of that room with his M4A1 and his bullets. While here they are shooting some targets. So the targets pop up on their screen and they have to drive through the boxes to, well, to simulate shooting them. Yeah, the water entry looks good for Bolle. Ludo is slightly behind, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to see. They have different approaches and Ludo flips and he didn't do the air brake there, and well, he has to respawn and doesn't, like,
Wait,
he's
huh?
on his back again. Yeah, Ludo.
He doesn't know how to do the respawn, yeah.
Yeah, that was really weird. He took too much speed, didn't release enough, and he is definitely out of this round. And even Fate is gonna not get a third place.
Yeah, exactly. And Ferry will get first here with a 3:05 by the looks of it. Yeah, 3:05.60. That is just a casual time from him, just cruising. Then
Yeah,
Bolle in second. Then we see Fate getting that third position here after overtaking a Ludo here. And Ludo is also able to finish, but he's 30 seconds behind, so he still has some track to go. But the finish time is, I think, 1 minute.
I mean,
how long is it?
it's 25% of the
okay,
world record.
okay.
So in this case, it should be 3:02. So it should be like 45 seconds on this map.
Okay.
But yeah, like the way Ferry is driving now, everyone is very scared of him. Like even Morpio is really wary of playing Ferry at this point, I'm sure. So yeah, he's just, like, we say 3:06 is a very nice time, but isn't insane. And then he proves his point by driving a 3:05 instead, and that is insane. So
Yeah, great time.
Fate already struggling in the start. He really, like, really isn't in the best situation right now, and we can't really. I mean, we just have to compliment him for even showing up on this match. Like, with his health issues, he has every right to not show up. So it's amazing that he's even here and he's giving the other players. He's trying to give them a fight.
Exactly, yeah, but he made again a mistake there, as well as Ludo making a small blunder. So Ludo currently on third position, but coming closer to Bolle here. But Bolle, of course, with that in mind, Bolle has gone up to that second position. Ludo, however, had to respawn there. Not sure why he respawned. Is there a speed check after that? Let me actually check what is after that. But he couldn't make it.
Respawned.
Yeah,
Bolle,
no idea.
Bolle not getting the Neo there, and well, this round, like, there are islands of players, and no one should risk at this point. I think, apart from Ludo, who should obviously go for some more points because he's last, but Ferry and Bolle should at this point just save their way into the finish.
It's free wheel. Okay, that's why he respawned.
Okay.
So that's
I didn't see where he was respawning.
Oh, good.
But yeah, that makes sense.
Alright, so Bolle 6 seconds behind, so again a clear round, and bear in mind, if Ferry gets himself that first position, he is in finalist, and I think he's on a good time again, maybe a 3:06 after he's coming into contact with some parts here, but still it's a very tight section. It's hard to not come into contact, and you're not that fast, so still Ferry is currently on a good pace here.
He is once again on the 3:05.60, like he's a second out of my time, so yeah, this man, like, as I said before, this map is either going to be great for him or it's going to be horrible, and well, he's clearly making it the first option of those. Like, he is just driving out of his mind, and yeah, he's just driving his own match at this point. Like, he doesn't have opponents in this match. The only opponent is himself, I guess.
Himself,
yeah.
Exactly. Himself.
And he isn't struggling with beating himself. So
yeah, if you take a look into the CPs here, checkpoint 17, 18 is the last checkpoint to be displayed here. And of course, it's the longest checkpoint here. It's 30 seconds in length, and Ferry is just surviving it. Nicely done here by him, and he will clock in that finalist mode. Great entry into that. Also here, great amount of speed going up the hill. So let's take a look what time he's gonna do. See what CP is getting here.
Oh,
very close there to the
did get a little bit of a slowdown there. Yeah, he's gonna drive a 304.6.
Yeah, that is a great time.
He is driving a 304.6 in match, like, and it's not even a fluke. He's doing this shit every run. It's like insane. This is like the 3rd time of the world, like in time attack, and he's driving it in rounds. This is insane. He drives a 304.68. I think that's the 3rd time in the world.
Yeah, that's a solid time. Your Bolle getting 2nd though. Then Fate in 3rd, and Ludo on P4, also able to finish. But yeah, what a great time. Really great time here from Ferry, up to finalist mode. So he has to win 1 more round in order to advance. And also it is Bolle who's strongly capitalizing from Ludo here, from Ludo's mistakes.
I just can't help to notice like that his water entry wasn't great. So I think he would have definitely been able to win like at least half a second there as well. But yeah, this man is well, he's a finalist now. Let's see if he can finish this match as in the same way that he's been playing it all the time. He definitely deserves to just close it out here, and yeah, this is definitely one of the best performances of this tournament.
Yeah, very great performance here from Ferry, and leading again here. So the question is, can he close it out here, or will he get denied? Maybe even from a player like Fate, who has a good start here. But wonky approach from all the players here. Ludo clipping it there, Fate clipping the 2nd part there. Bolle with the nice technique there by not getting any airtime. A little bit like a full speed corkscrew that he has taken there. So coming closer, but we have a much closer round here coming into the 2nd part of this. Yeah, I'm just so used to commentate and say 2nd part, but Ferry makes that mistake there. So he is dead, and he will not get that 1st position at the first look here, but he can still catch up though. He's only 1 second behind. So let's actually go with Ferry and see if he can make it.
Yeah, definitely. Like in this first half of the map, I don't think we have seen such a close round like at half of the CPs. Of course, again, we are halfway in the CP counter, but we are not halfway the map yet because at the end there are really long CPs. But everyone is within 2/10, and then there's Bolle about a second ahead. So Ferry definitely still has a chance to get 1st in this round, and we've seen his ends are very fast. Like so. He's already overtaking both Fate and Ludo. Ludo not with the greatest line there. And, ooh, he misses the Neo. So he gets overtaken by Ludo again.
But the ending from Ferry was really strong. Just look after CP17. CP17 to 18 was really strong. And also this section here by doing this small tap slide there. Bolle falling down and Bolle choking it up, but also Ferry here.
Also falling
off. No, that is unfortunate here for Ferry, as he has made that mistake as well. He was in 1st position.
He is still very close though. Like he has every chance to still beat Ludo.
Yeah, exactly. But great round here between the 3 players, the 3 remaining players. Bolle is the only player who has made that mistake. But let's look at this, how close that is. Ferry is going to the lead here, but only by 600ths of a second ahead of Fate. But now the water part comes in. Let's see who's gonna take it. It's very close. Maybe a deja vu moment here for Ferry. And this could break him as Ludo has more speed here. Let's take a look. Also great section here from Ferry. Touches the upper corner to get a tiny tad more speed. This will be all in the ending between Ludo and Ferry here, but also it is Fate in the mix. Who's gonna take it? It's very close here. Only a couple of more turns to go. Let's see who's gonna make it. Ludo still is leading. Ferry has nothing to lose here, and 1 more turn to go here. 1 more section to go, and who's gonna be that? Ferry with a great line and goes into the lead. Ferry will make it. 1 more respawn, and Ferry is most likely through here, as long as he's not missing up the ending here. Let's take a look, and Ferry is making it. He is defeating his nemesis and using his 1st finals attempt, and that is it. GG.
Yeah, that's a crazy round. Like Fate is driving a pretty good time and gets 3rd. Like of course Ferry did have some mistakes during that run, and I was having flashbacks to the round between Ferry and Hazard when I saw Ferry being 2/10 ahead in the last checkpoint. Like that was I was hoping it wouldn't happen again, but Ludo got an even worse end than him. So yeah, Fate is leaving. Like he is struggling with his health. He does have coronavirus, unfortunately. So of course understandable that he doesn't manage to play out this match. But the match is definitely not over yet, because we're still gonna have an interesting fight between Bolle on 48
Exactly.
and Ludo on 46 points. And well, Ferry just miles ahead of his opposition here and closes it out in his first attempt in the first rotation, which is not something that often happens.
Exactly, and now Bolle and Ludo are betting it out here on Hypnosis. No more warm-up. There's only one more break for Ludo that he can take. Bolle has already taken his break. But let's take a look into the standing here. Bolle still ahead, 48-46 points. It doesn't really matter too much. Maybe in the terms of the 10-pointers, because Bolle only needs one 10-pointer in order to get finalist mode in 3 rounds. So that is maybe one point that you have to keep in mind. And Ludo has to win 2 rounds so that Bolle has one more round into his favor. As Bolle goes so close there to the wall. How did he not touch there? That was really close between them. So currently Ludo is leading the race here.
Yeah, Ludo always with this great starts. We've seen it before, we are seeing it again. Even though Bolle is also has very clean starts usually, and we haven't seen Ludo's crazy starts this match so far because his opponents are also driving very fast. We see Ludo having a good start again, but let's see if he can keep this up during the second half. We have the water bounce coming up here. This shouldn't be a part where there's a lot of mistakes happening, and the players should just save through this. A small Neo coming up here, where if you take too much risk you might crash into the wall, but these players don't do that. They survive this part, and well, do they go too wide here in this section where you can fall off that small ledge and then you have to respawn because it's a free wheel. Ludo going for a small alternative strategy there, trying to land earlier and accelerate earlier as well. I don't think it gains that much, but that does gain much because Bolle has to respawn.
Yeah, Ludo is ahead now, and Bolle had to respawn, so that is Ludo's round to lose here. But he can take it easy. He's more than 10 seconds ahead, make it even 20 or something like that. So he's very, very far ahead. As you can see, the checkpoints in the 128. Okay, 10 seconds, never mind. I was having some wrong maths there. But Bolle is 10 seconds behind. And yeah, now it's Ludo's round to lose, as he's approaching that freewheel turnaround very nicely, and Ludo is leading the round here, going to CP number 9, and only 5 minutes, 3 minutes of the 5-minute tracks are left, make it 2.5 minutes now. So Ludo doing it quite nicely, not going for the skip actually. I was thinking in the first moment going for it, but you can also go for a water bound skip, which is faster of course, but Ludo didn't choose to do so, which is the right decision. And now he is, approaching CP11, a freewheel part with those turnarounds here that are coming. And have to go here, turn around, bonk, collect those parts. Else you probably get a black screen, right? Or you can just not make that part because you don't have a lot of speed as well. So it might even be faster than just go for that.
I think you wouldn't be able to make it anyway, but you also get a black screen just so people don't miss the checkpoint.
Exactly.
Or like miss the correct route.
All right, interesting though. So only 1 minute and 40 seconds left here, and Ludo looks strong. It is Bolle coming a bit closer though, but Ludo can just save it. He can just save it here. He can put on his Marius 5 save and just cruise it into the finish. The respawn would not be that good, but Ludo is doing that. Also, that wall crash doesn't really matter too much. Not falling down the bridge, also good. And Ludo will take this round home here, most likely.
Yeah, of course, there are still the backflip and the backward section coming, but like Ludo doesn't have to risk the low backflip. He can just go full speed and be pretty sure that he makes it. And also the backwards, like he does have enough time to save that.
Exactly. So this might be actually a sub 5 minute pace still, or like low 5 minute time, something around that.
Yeah, it's gonna be like around the flat time, I think. In the other match, just some information between Fizzerb, Calvin, Blastus, and Titan Vara. We see that Fizzerb and Calvin have roughly the same points at 40. Blastus at 30 and Titan Vara at 28. So there, everything is still to play for. Of course, that's also an elimination match where the top 2 stays in the tournament and the bottom 2 will drop out. And at the moment, Vizrup and Calvin would move on to the next phase. But yeah, we see Ludo not having the safest line on that backwards climb, but apparently he knows what to do and he knows how to not fail it. So he just cruises into the finish with a good time, just under the 5-minute mark. And yeah, he didn't need to drive an insane time here. He just had to save it into the finish line, and he does exactly that. And he collects 10 points.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Ludo already doing one task. Both have to win. So that's like the 1v1 now. So
yeah,
for the finalist mode, because Ludo has to win this next round, and then he can afford of getting second, and the other way around it is as well, as you can see the points here. If Bolle gets himself first, he's up to 64 points, and with that he needs just to finish, and Ludo would be up to 62, and you know, you get the point. So you get the point.
Exactly.
It's important now to win this round. So this round is really, really important for the players to get, and then we will go to a decider to round number 13 on the map that have we seen already as well, without a warm-up. So the map where the mod has loaded, I unfortunately forgot the name.
Mario Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rock map and the bridges map. But yeah, Bolle said just before the match to me, like I did some little pre-match interviews with the players, as he gets really, what happened there? Like, oh, okay, he is still alive. Ludo, I don't think he makes that. He gets a really weird slowdown, and he doesn't pass the speed check. So there's a really low speed at that part. But yeah, Bolle said just before that he was nervous. He was scared that he would mess his second place up by being nervous. So, well, it is of course a perfect environment to be nervous, because Ludo is your only opponent and he is just ahead of you. So let's hope Bolle can beat his nerves and well, first keep this advantage that he has in this round, and then close out the match when he gets finalist.
Yeah, that is important, of course. That is really important.
And as you said, the next round like is really not that important. It's more this round that matters the most. So next round is...
It's also important because let's say if Bolle wins this round, he's up to 64 points, you know?
Yeah.
And then Ludo would be at 62. So if Ludo doesn't win the round, he's not finalist, and Bolle is the 9th finalist. So it's all about if both get... Oh no, Bolle. Oh no.
Bolle, what was that? He is just throwing it away, and that's really sad to see. He had the advantage. It was not far. It was only 2 seconds, not even. But yeah, this was an unnecessary mistake that he maybe could have avoided, and he will not be happy with that. So let's hope it doesn't cost him in the end.
So now Ludo with the upper hand, and he only has to finish the next round if he stays in first and claim finalist.
He shouldn't be risking this. He doesn't risk it. He just goes for the safe water bounce. He knows he's ahead, and he doesn't take any risks.
And he can also just, you know, if so for the next round for Ludo, it's not about getting himself into the finalist mode. It's about denying the finalist mode to Bolle, which of course can relieve some pressure. Else we're gonna have the last round with round number 13, and if not, we have 14 rounds in total. So still high quality RPG gameplay here on your monitor on twitch.tv. So
yeah, for sure high quality. Like, we already started it off with that insane round with the 56, 57, 58 on this very map. The quality has kind of dropped from all players except Ferry after that. Like, they are not driving those times anymore, and at the moment it seems more like a matter of surviving a clean run than driving a fast time. But yeah, it's of course, we have been playing now for like 1 hour and 15 minutes already, so the focus might deteriorate, and players might get tired at this point. To be honest, so
I think that matches are way too long. Matches are way too long. That's my opinion about it. So I mean, if you want some feedback also for a caster, so solo casting it here is like kudos to the people who do that. But like how you want to focus after 1 hour 15 if you play round number 11 here, like 11 rounds of not making mistakes. Of course, yeah, you can make it, you're in the zone, but still it's like, it's rough, let's say it like that. It's rough.
It's definitely one of the tricky parts to like manage a cup when you're organizing it. Like last year it was definitely worse. We had matches that were 2 hours to 2.5 hours, and we did notice that it was just too long, and then we tried to cut down on the map length which we have. But like shorter than 1.5 hours, you're not really getting a good match anymore, because or not in this format at least, because you do need to play 3 maps, and you do need to have all players like showing what they can do on 3 maps. So you have to kind of play at least 3 rounds each map, otherwise it will just be kind of random, like who does best. So I think the players in RPG are definitely used to playing longer matches. Like they are more used to like the long maps and the longer so I think the way it is now, it's kind of fine, but yeah, it will never be perfect, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, of course, but for me it would be too long. I would have said that. And also you cannot say that you can, like, okay, the match is over, like the Trackmania Granting thingy, that the match is over when you just are 3 or 4 or 5 seconds ahead, you know? This would be not a thing. Maybe do it with 1 checkpoint ahead or something, but still, this is like, meh, it's like, it's not working out.
Exactly. Like that would possibly be a good format if you had multiple players that are
Good
like
bolle.
able to drive on the same pace. But in RPG, the different, like the maps are quite hard to stay within these times, and they're not like, the players are not all on the same level in that sense. So I think you have to row with the, how do you call them? Row things that you have, and we just have to deal with the way it is now.
Exactly, that's what you have to do. And currently there's bolle making that first mistake, and we have Ludo leading the round. 1 minute to the race, so we have 4 minutes left here on this track. And let me actually enable that. And bolle will probably not go for the water bounce. He has to risk it. Ludo might save it. I'm not sure how much the water save or water bounce saves you or not.
Should save around 1 to 2 seconds, so I think Ludo has to go for it, and I think he will if this stays like this. But maybe Ludo is saving it.
Ludo made a mistake though. Yeah.
Where's Ludo? He has to respawn just before the checkpoint, and he has to respawn again. So I mean, I think bolle will still go for the water skip, because he's used to it, the same as Ferry going for it, even though he had absolutely no reason to. But I would advise him to not do it, but we're gonna see what decision he makes.
Exactly, we're gonna see, but yeah, it is Ludo pretty far behind here. Pretty far behind, make it, more than 10 seconds even. More than 10 seconds, 13 seconds.
And as you said, this is really important, because bolle getting first means they are both finalists in this round. So otherwise bolle would not have been finalist yet. So if it stays like this, the next round is going to be the final round of this match, and it's going to decide who moves on, and who of these two, both amazing players, drops out. We see bolle going for the safe strat.
Go for the respawn!
No, he doesn't have to respawn. He still makes it. He gets lucky with the magnet. He expected that, but yeah, that's of course the risk when you go for the normal way and you're not comfortable with the normal way, maybe.
Ludo also dead. I think he cannot. He has to respawn, I think. Or does he? No, never mind. Okay, he gets the magnet.
The magnet is a bit weird, of course. You can most of the time save yourself, but ooh, yeah, that doesn't give either of these players.
Bolle with a mistake though. Bolle with a mistake, and he is. Oh,
he's behind. Bolle's behind now. Yeah, Ludo is ahead of him. So and bolle again not with the greatest line there. Bolle does crumble under those nerves that he was talking about. I think he didn't make these mistakes like earlier and in practice. So yeah, Ludo just has to save it to the finish now, and he gets a free shot at the win.
Yeah, so let's see, can he make it or not? 8 seconds are tearing those players apart, Ludo and Bolle will not be finalists in the next round. It was on the silver plate served for him, but he declined the offer. He just wanted to make it exciting, and maybe he thought a little bit too much. It's a problem that a lot of people have, that they just think about things. They are scared of making mistakes, and you should just play and forget about those things. And also that a player that is fast is behind you. Just do your gameplay, just do your job, and then everything will be fine. But it's not looking that Ludo is slowing down, because yeah, most of the hard sections, maybe the flip is still coming in, but else I think Ludo has it.
I definitely think so too. Ludo shouldn't give this one away, and then we're going back to Mauer Park to decide this. So I'm not completely sure whether Ludo got the most points there or Bolle, or like how they did. I know Ludo definitely choked some rounds like horribly, being about a minute behind Ferry. So I think Bolle may have a slight advantage there, but Ludo is more used to the format of like long matches and RPG matches in general. Ludo, of course, was the 4th player in last year's Brawl. He reached the grand final and managed to get 4th in that match against Morpio, Tourist, Sixela, and himself. So I think Ludo does have an edge in terms of experience. But Bolle may have an edge in terms of Mauer Park being played, which he did train a lot last week.
But also this, that he played it a lot, can also pull you off. That you think, okay, yeah, you know, I played this map sufficiently and I have to perform there.
Yeah, we see Ludo getting first with a 5:18, which is
yeah,
obviously not the fastest
though.
time. Yeah, this was not a clean run of either player at all. So yeah, the pressure, as we were talking about earlier, really is building now. Like this is the moment they have to perform. Bolle cannot make any mistakes anymore. If he messes up once more, then he's out of the tournament.
Exactly. Now the round really matters. It's do or die for Bolle. He had it actually, but we have the last round coming up. It's Ludo and finalist. Bolle not there yet. And if Bolle was first in that prior round, he would be in finalist, but that wasn't the case. Good luck. We are starting, and now we actually have music here on this map. So let's close the Valley OST and see who's making that first mistake. Can Bolle deny Ludo here, who has the worst start, deny him the entry into the semi-final of the loser, what was that, loser bracket?
Yeah.
Upper group? I'm so confused with that.
Yeah, into the loser bracket semi-final. It's fine. Yeah, just to the next round, I guess. It is still close, even though Ludo made that early mistake. They are like really close to each other, and any mistake, Ludo slightly touching that rock there, but it doesn't really matter. Like those are the kinds of mistakes that are like horrible in normal style maps like TMGL, like tech tournaments. But in RPG, like those mistakes are not the ones you're scared about. You win those like time losses back way too easily with like better lines and riskier strategies at some parts. But Ludo, with all these mistakes, he does lose about 1.5 seconds.
No!
But Bolle is choking that part.
Ow!
The bridge part is one of the harder parts of the map, of course, and Bolle experiences that and has to respawn even, I think. So he's really far behind now. He's 8.5 seconds behind Ludo, and well, Ludo the task to just save. Don't take risks. Save into the finish. And,
yeah, 8 seconds ahead. 7 seconds.
And you got it.
Exactly.
Bolle the task of full risking and hoping that Ludo makes a mistake.
Yeah, so I'm just spectating Ludo here in Cam 3 because this map really favors. I would probably also play this map in Cam 3 because this is just, you know, you see everything. It's flattened, you see the surface, you see all the elevation changes, and it just makes sense to play this map in Cam 3, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, Ludo is currently 7.7 seconds ahead, and Bolle has to rely on a mistake. He cannot overtake him with sheer pace here. He has to rely on a mistake, and Ludo currently is doing it very nicely and not going for a risky box that there or something, just accumulating sufficient speed there. And I think that Ludo is what the fuck, is on his way. 2 minutes left for him. 2 minutes left, 10 more checkpoints.
Tiredness making you German for a moment, but that's alright. Yeah, bolle is having a faster pace. Ludo is saving a lot, but he should, because he is still 7.5 seconds ahead. Bolle making up about 1 second in the meantime. But yeah, this shouldn't be enough to completely catch up unless Ludo makes a mistake in the end. And we have seen that before, especially in situations where the players are under pressure. Mistakes in the end, in the water bounce jump and in the jumps after can easily happen because they are still quite precise. And precision is hard when you're so nervous and you're under pressure and you need to perform.
Nah, that's the wrong attitude. Again, you should not think that you need to perform. Just play. Just play. Don't think, just play. And that's also what a lot of people just forget. You should just play and do your own thing. So for me, for example, I'm not the fastest, but when I'm under pressure, I just play, and I usually perform under pressure because I just don't think what is happening if I just clip that thingy. What is happening if I miss that jump? I would go crazy when I think like that. So of course you have to perform, but that should not be your attitude, But I understand that think-wise, but Ludo is taking it very intelligent here. He is more than 6 seconds ahead, even though he's saved. But a bug can still happen. But Ludo is making it, and I think that's the early GG.
Yeah. I think that was the hardest part of the map that he just passed, and it should be smooth sailing if he makes this jump.
Yeah, and he makes it. So Ludo is through. Bolle had the chance. He has thrown it away. That is unfortunate for him, but he had the chance. But of course, also good practice. So good luck for him in the next edition. And Ludo is in the semifinal. So GG's to him. After a small blunder, still clocking in a 433.58. Great fight between them. But Ludo and and Ferry are through.
Unfortunate for Bolle. Unfortunate for Fate. Was playing in less than ideal conditions. But yeah, Ferry with a demolishing performance in this match, and Ludo clocking in the second place a while later. Just narrowly beating out Bolle, who was struggling in the end with keeping clean runs.
Alright, that was it. Nice match. Was a bit long though, but 1.5 hours I think is fine. But with a fourth player in there, it would be really draining, and also for a caster. I mean, it's too long. I'm live for 7 hours now.